Hello everybody, it is me, Pacific. Oh boy, I was going to make a bunch of videos yesterday, but I got up in the morning, went to open my mouth, and all that came out was, yeah, gone. The cold laugh, so did my voice, but I have it today. I wanted to do something different, mainly because I was inspired by one comment that somebody liked me taking a video of our modern pop culture and spotlighting it and having people watch the video and then me commenting on it. So I think I'll let you into my world a little more and show you some of the videos that I listen to and watch. And there's a variety of reasons, mostly the music. Of course, the scenery is nice, pretty women and stuff. But this video I wanted to spotlight because something hit me. We don't often unpack what we're entertained by. We just go, ooh, this is good. But bear with me. Go with me for a minute. The song is called Sweet Love. I believe it's Romanian, but I'm not sure. The woman is stunning. The guy, the opening scene is the cocky that he's got money, so he can get this girl. The boat, the turquoise-colored ocean, the exotic port, and it hit me. Do you know why there's a lot of depression in America among males? How many of us males get inundated with videos like this and sitcoms and movies that show these good-looking, absolute stunning women, and they're working it. They're showing it all off. You think it's just entertainment, but is it? Subconsciously, your mind's getting a message. You can't have her, partner. You're just average. You'll never get the woman in this video. Never, ever, ever. Mona. She's a 10 in my book. Tan skin, perfect body, hair, face, black hair. Beautiful. Do you notice that women like her get to go all over the globe? They get to go on those nice yachts. They get to go to exotic ports. And let me ask you a question. Is it because she got a college degree and worked her butt off for it and saved for it? No. The subtle message has been communicated to us males. People like me, people like you, people that are a little bit balding, people with a little bit of a gut. You're not going to get a girl like that unless you pay for her. There's a lot of pretty women. Unfortunately, the music industry has really capitalized on the really hot-looking women out there. When's the last time you've seen a solo female vocalist artist who's 350 pounds make a killing on her albums? I mean, with good music. I don't really want to look at a 350-pounder performing anything, in my opinion. But let's drop it down a bit. How about average-looking girls? The kind of girls we see every day. Slender, they might wear glasses, they might be considered a geek, a nerd. How many hot videos do you see put out by them? So those of us in a pop media culture that spend an awful, even an inordinate amount of time in it, we're getting a message. Here I am, I'm beautiful, you can look at me, but you can't have me, you can't touch me. Shoot, I can't even go on that boat. And I love the ocean. And I find myself getting a little angered. These women in turn become high maintenance, stuck up, and they get the good life. And not once do they fall on their knees and say, you know, God, I have been blessed beyond measure, and it's all because I have looks. If you're honest with yourself, men, all of us would go crazy to have a woman like that. just on the looks alone. Forget the personality, we haven't even gotten to past the front door of the attraction factor. Or we did get in the front door of the attraction factor, but we haven't gone down the hallways to all the other rooms that are loaded with so much baggage and drama and stuff that maybe you better just stop at the front door. Because I don't think you want to go in that woman's house. There's another video, and I should post it as well, called Stereo Love. Big brass earrings, the tie-dye dress hanging off her shoulder, sexy, sexy, on the yacht, blasting around the Puget Sound out there in the bay off Seattle. Then gets in the hot car. You got to ask yourself a question. Is there any substance to these women's lives? Any real depth of substance? You're going to be able to sit down and have a theological conversation with her, a political conversation with her. Now, there are men that'll tune in and go, who cares, Pacific? She's hot, man. For how long? You get tangled up with that woman and you actually get to do the dirty deed and, I'm not going to say make love, but have sex with her. Well, then you got a host of problems. Because then you've just created a bond, and who knows where her mind's at. Maybe she just wants a fling. Maybe not. We need to talk about this stuff. It depresses me when I see those videos because it's given us a spirit of discontentment. Let me paint a picture for you. Out here, and because of all the crazy fools that get on my channel that aren't good, I can't mention the name of the street, but it's a 4-lane busy boulevard most hours of the day until 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock when it finally dies down. I go out and stand out in this front yard and cars are just... That's it. You don't hear children playing. You don't see laughter. You see a fence. You see a rundown house down the street. You see an empty lot for sale. The message is shouted out here, boring. You go a couple blocks down here to a lake, and you see dowdy-dressed, plain Jane slender woman. She's training for Hitler's army. Cool. She's playing Ride of the Valkyries. Dun 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 dun. I was at a store Sunday. I went to go get some money from an ATM. Went to the Walmart. A mildly attractive, slender woman in front of me. Face pensive. She wasn't smart enough to push her cart properly and was trying to get between her cart and the little counter to pay the clerk. Not once would she look at me and smile warmly, any of that. She gets irritated, moves her cart, face is all pensive, and the clerk says, "You have a nice day." "Thank you, you too." Boy, that was sincere. Not. Then, this is the culture I grow up in. You get out in your bus every day and people run my stop sign and a black woman's yelling and mouthing off at me, and then you see a kid get hit by a Dodge truck and everybody's living in their car and they're getting in debt for a car, and all you get on the TV is commercial after commercial. No credit, bad credit, we'll get you in a car. That's what it's all about. Got to get that car. I got a car and I still can't get a date. I didn't buy the truck for the date. I bought the truck because I needed it. Then you click on a host. Millions upon millions of videos on YouTube. Beautiful woman. Clean and smooth. Brown skin. The boat. And what does that do to us, folks? Can we be honest? What does that do to us? I'm going to tell you, women like that don't, will not, are incapable of even looking our way. You want to get a woman like that? I'll tell you how to do it. It's very easy. You go buy a multi-million-dollar yacht, and you pull that baby up into the dock with all the other yachts, and you come down there and you stand there and you just stand there like this, and you smile at all those women walking by and say, "You want to go for a ride?" Then maybe. Those women are using their looks as a stock on Wall Street, and it will go for the highest bidder. It doesn't matter what the man looks like. It doesn't matter if he has this or not. To a woman of that caliber, only one thing matters. You serve me and you pamper me and you worship me. She doesn't even care if she gets the sex or not. She's not into that. Generally, women have made a god out of themselves, and they've made a complete temple out of their looks. And you will pay, and you will tithe, and you will give them offerings. Trust me, and it's going to cost you. You will sacrifice your life to get a woman like that. Why am I using these terms? Because we have moved away from biblical Christianity in our world, not just our nation. And whether it's these huge meteoric rise to stardom, hot-looking Romanian women that are getting in the club scene, Russian women, they're learning very fast. They can get whatever they want. Yachts, boats, cars. But look carefully at the men they're with. I'm sorry, I look at the man in that video and I'm like, big deal. The first opening thing at him at the table with the cocky look and I'm like, he's not striking. Don't get me wrong, folks. This isn't a gay thing, what I'm saying, but I look at him and I'm like, what's the big deal there? He's got all this unshaven thing, and I'm like, he looks like how many other guys I see here in Denver every day, and it's like nothing special. I wonder what these cats are going to do when they hit their 50s and 60s. And all those looks and all that goes away. Then what? This does cause. There is repercussions from this kind of a culture. We grew up on movies. We grew up on TV. We grew up watching a beautiful woman get a man. We saw Indiana Jones. We saw all kinds of stuff. Some people respond to it by disappearing into the science fiction realm, fantasy and role play. Others, like a roommate I had years ago who was not handsome. Unfortunately, God was not kind to him in the looks department. He was a good roommate. He was my friend, but he was gaunt. Girls didn't look his way at all. And back then, when I was dating girls left and right, he couldn't get a date. And yet he had this belief that he was going to build Airwolf. Remember the TV show? He paused. He videotaped the show. And if you remember when the show started, it showed these little schematics flashing across the screen. He says, if I can slow those down, those might be the plans how to build it. And I said, Mark, this is a TV show. Those aren't the plans to build a helicopter like that. Trust me. So he wanted to videotape it so he could stop it frame by frame by frame and write it all down. I said, he had a crush on a girl named Krista. A sawed-off runt of a woman who was very stuck up, very conceited. She went to a church. It was said by many, they said, she claims to be a Christian, but you can't tell. She's a jerk. And I said, first of all, what do you see in her, dude? I said, she doesn't even turn my head. She's rude. She's immature as hell. Yeah, but I think she's hot. I said, yeah, she's pretty, but she's really not cool. All the guys standing around after church hoping so bad that she'll look their way. I said, man, I don't even waste my time with a girl like that. He was convinced that he could win her over. I said, I want you to watch the next time you go into the church, to the hallway after service, and you go and say hi to her, and I want you to pay particular attention to her body language, Mark. She has no interest in you at all. And I wasn't trying to discourage my roommate, but even I learned something. If he did have a helicopter like that, if he did have big money, he probably could get a girl like that. But why would you want her? I'm going to tell you a little story. I came home one day, and he had been gone. It was like a day off work. I think it was a weekend, and kind of a gloomy, overcast day, and he finally shows up. I said, where have you been? And he had this cheesy, sheepish grin on his face, and he had told me a story that shocked me like nobody's business. The pastor of the church that we all went to, he'd adopted a foreign girl, and I don't remember what country she was from. I don't remember if she was Filipino, what, brown skin, cute, teenager. When my roommate told me this, I was horrified. I said, oh my gosh. And my viewers will ask me, well, why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you do anything? Whoa, what do I do, man? I was in my 20s. He knew that the pastor was gone that day. He called the house there, because the daughter knew him and said, I want to see you. He told me, he said, I actually saw her kissing another guy. And he said he took her on his motorcycle, brought his tent, put up a tent out somewhere. He didn't make love with her, but he proceeded to take her shirt off and kiss her and all that, and she was willing and obliging. And he did that, telling her, if you don't come with me, I'll tell your dad you did this and you'll be in big trouble. When I moved to Duluth in '89, I told some mutual friends that knew my roommate and all went to that church what had happened, and he was appalled. He says, you've got to be kidding me. I said, no. Can I be honest? It didn't even enter my mind at that time to call the police, or it didn't even enter my mind. I was in my 20s. I was spinning off of my universe. I worked at the factory, and I was working my life, and I had just come down from my first divorce. And I just looked at him. I said, you know, that probably wasn't a good idea, dude. I said, I would not recommend you go anywhere near that situation again. I said, she's underage? You're 21? I said, no. Why did I mention that? Because it's important. He's not the only one who's done that stuff. I didn't do that. I never manipulated anybody. Did not do that at all. But what do you think the message is that he's gotten? The only way he's going to get any is if he manipulates a situation. That's wrong, Pacific. I know it is. But he grew up on a TV culture. Man, if I can just get this Airwolf, then I can have a hot-looking woman. Reality says you're not going to get that. I'm guilty. I'm human. I'm flesh. I see that hot-looking girl going like this, going, gosh, she's gorgeous. But I know in my mind, if I ran into her in Greece somewhere or wherever she's in those islands, she wouldn't even look my way. I wouldn't even try to go, hey, Mona, what up, dog? I'd see her and go, shoot, I've listened to her music, man. I might say something to that effect, hey, I like your music. And she'd probably say, thanks, if I'm fortunate. Why am I talking about this? Because I think if we males are honest, we don't act very complex. Most men are stupid and they don't have good conversational skills, good lovemaking skills, and they're just kind of duds. You know, that's why I call these Dodge Dually diesels. That's why I call them Dodge Dually diesel doofuses. I'm in my twuck. There's a mentality, a dumbing down. But I'm old enough to know that men are more complex than even that. We've all been affected. Most men don't take the time to unpack or articulate it. Most men just say, well, I'm a man, you pull up your pants and deal. But do we deal? Look at all the alcoholism, look at all the porn addiction, look at all the stuff. And then, let's take it down to my world when I meet the few women around here that might be a potential date, and they're rude, and they're put down, and they're self-righteous, and you're like, pfft. And you watch videos of these hot-looking, stunning women with a voice that are pulling down a good income, can get any guy they want, go on any yacht they want, and go globetrot around the world, and they make life look good. But the reality is, you start interviewing all of us men, and none of us are going to have that lifestyle. No boat, no motor car, not a single luxury, or the car you have, you're constantly fixing it. It's messed up. It's not fair that somebody was endowed with looks and they get a free ride. She gets 2 tickets to paradise. But what kind of a person does that make her? A narcissistic monster. The chickens will come home to roost when she's in her 60s. And after breast implants and nips and tucks and lifts and $9 billion worth of makeup, ointments, and creams. And when she's 65 and nobody's looking her way anymore and she can't sing anymore and living in her mansion, and we'll see if there's a man around to be totally passionately involved with her just for her. Doubtful. We're living in a cheap ASS era. Women are flaunting it. Women are parading themselves around as sex objects. And then they're ruining the fact later on that all men are pigs. Well, you kind of brought us there, babes. What my roommate did was wrong. It was wrong. And I looked him right in the eye and I said, that wasn't really cool, dude. I said, you could get into so much trouble for that. And I think the reason I didn't act on it, I didn't even think of it, but I thought, I'm not going to hang him out to dry. He would have been in jail for that. Looking back, Arizona had a statutory rape law. If you were even caught with a woman younger than 18 in your truck and she had a sandal off her foot, if a cop saw the sandal sitting on the floor, he could get you for statutory rape even if she took it off. That's what I was told. Let alone going and getting somebody, bringing them on your motorcycle, pitching a tent, and having her top off and leaving hickey marks all over her breast, and then telling me about it. Parents, you better pay attention to what your teenage daughter's doing, because you have no frickin' idea. None. I know what they're doing, because I hear them on the bus all day. I'm amazed at the stuff that comes out of their mouth. My mom didn't even know about it. Me and my boyfriend slept together, la 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 la. I hear this stuff and I'm like, wow. Mona's hot. She's absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. But this is what women have become. My makeup, my looks, my pleasure, my entertainment. Notice me. I don't have time for you. I don't have time for anybody else at all. That's their mantra. And if you notice, even in that video, the guy that's all over her, the focus isn't on him at all. It's only on her. It's always only on her. Look at female vocalist videos, and what do you see over and over? It's almost like a religious experience. It's almost as if, though, you could take some of these modern, trite Christian rock songs and actually sing them to her. I just want to know you more. I just want to love you more. What's the difference? Nothing. She's a goddess. So watch these two videos I put up here. Stereo Love and Sweet Love. I admit, I like this kind of music. I like the feel of it. It's fun to dance to. But what it's promoting, what the artists are promoting, is really quite depressing. That works if you look like her. But what if you look like me? What if you're the male that can't get that her? What is the message that I'm getting? Am I entertained by it? Or does it make you lust after that, going, gosh, I wish, what? And how many of us men, if we're honest, have thought, what could I do to change myself to get that kind of woman? Nothing, boys. Don't try. I'm going to say something spiritual here, and I'm not trying to be pious. But women like that, it doesn't matter what you change. Those women are never going to go after you for this. They're not interested in your heart. They're not interested in if you're deep, if you're shallow. They don't care about that. It's if you can push their fun meter button and peg it to the high all the time. Spend money on them, let them live the lifestyle they want. So many dating ads are women wanting to be pampered by men. I look at Colorado here. I was talking to my friend in Tennessee yesterday. She goes, gosh, I get my paycheck and it just goes to needs. It's true. The standard of living in our country, the cost of just our daily necessities has just risen dramatically, and not our paychecks. And I'm sorry, some brown-skinned, clean-shaven woman can get up there and parade around and sing a song and make millions of dollars for it. What is wrong with this picture? And she's on the yacht. And she's got the guys that are climbing all over her. And we sit there and watch this stuff. Don't you think that has an effect on us? And then women wonder why men have gotten into porn. Because we know we can't have those. So why not live vicariously through it? We have to deal with these issues. We have to face these issues. And unfortunately, even a lot of plain Jane, dowdy-dressed American women have gotten this attitude. They're not even as good looking as Mona. Not even close. And what's with their uppityness? Flashback to standing out in the front yard here. There's nothing even remotely close to that video that you're going to watch. They're just standing out here. Walk through this whole neighborhood. You're not going to see pretty women like that. You're not going to see the yachts. We're nowhere near a body of water like that. And you walk by house after house and everybody's in it. And then when people get in their cars, it's like they're ready for battle. Get out of my way. The entertainment industry is causing addiction. It's causing depression. It's causing men to go, shoot, I could never get a girl like that. But even if you could, would you want her? Oh, let's be honest. Physically, it'd be fun. But mentally, emotionally, spiritually, nothing there. Why is it our world and our culture has turned everything upside down? That woman in that video is probably a failure in emotions. Let me tell you, she doesn't get her way. I'll bet you she hits the quick fast. Spiritual 0. Relational 0. 3 epic fails and 1 A+. A+ in attractiveness. Epic fail in the rest. We've been conditioned to think that looks equates. If you could get that woman, that you'd have it made. Get past the front door of her looks, go down into the halls of her inner life. Would she help fix breakfast with you in the morning? Would she take out the trash? Would she put on a pair of jeans and lean against the hood of your truck as you're working on it going, honey, I'm sorry this broke down. I love you. Hell no. Then let's swing back to Colorado. The few of us guys that are nice, that have been bold, honest, and transparent, get lambasted, put down, laughed at, mocked at by women that aren't all that at all. I have not met one woman in this country that looks as good as what you're going to see on that video. But I will share with you a story. I was in Hong Kong walking a client's dog. I saw a stunning blonde woman. She smiled, said hi. I'm like, why is she talking to me? Her shirt was riding all the way up to here. The belly was showing, tight shorts, the works. No, she was not a prostitute. She's standing on the corner across from an Aussie expat bar, and they were all out in the courtyard. Well, the windows open up, and they were out in the wrought iron railing. All those men were watching her like a freaking hog. Nicely endowed. She was smoking hot. Because I had a dog, she asked me about the dog and this and that. Where can we walk to get away from all these people? And I said, well, you can go right up there to Victoria Peak, or you can go down on the Llama Island ferry. They let you bring dogs on that ferry, and you can go to Llama. She's married to a guy that they did business in Tokyo, but he's busy all day. She said, can I have your number? I'd love to walk dogs with you. Her name was Natalia. And this is when I was going through all the trouble with Beth. I kid you not, everything inside of me was on full alert, like, oh my gosh, she wants to walk with me? This is a Russian woman. And all those Aussie males were just getting their eye full of this. And I'm getting an eye full myself, going, oh man, she's beyond drop dead gorgeous. And you come back to this country, and any woman that looks remotely close to that, you go to Cherry Creek Mall, and they still don't look as good as Natalia. They still don't look good as Mona. That they think they're all that. They're covered in clothing and makeup and spending hour after hour in silly little stores with women accoutrements. And I'm going to say it right out of my heart. They're all bitches. All of them. High maintenance, stuck up, immature, materialistic, and American men go goo-goo over that. And a Russian woman doesn't look at my thick glasses, doesn't look at my income. She wants me to go with her to walk dogs, and I'm thinking, there is no way I could walk with this woman without thinking lustful thoughts in my mind. There's no freaking way. We did not end up getting together. Because even though we were having trouble, I was at that time trying to make things work with Beth, and I thought, if I get involved with her and she shows any interest in me, even though she's married, I'm a downer dude. And you know why that is? Because in our society, women like that don't pursue us. What my roommate did was wrong, but I think somewhere along the line he realized girls aren't going to go after me. So I'm going to have to take it by force. That's a scary place to be. I would never do that. There's a whole lot in my life, folks, that'll come out in videos, so you have no idea. I have 49 years of experiences and stories and things that are all true that I was there to hear, told to me firsthand, yada, yada, yada. About 2 months went by, I ended up kicking out my roommate because he just really started to go downhill. Went and bought a Toyota truck, got in debt for it, quit his job for some reason, and then he wanted me to carry him on the rent, and I said, no way, I can't. You got to pay your half or you got to go. It was actually nice to be alone again. I don't know whatever happened to him. I ran into him a couple years later, and he had a job down in Phoenix, but the pastor, he actually lost the truck, borrowed the pastor's Maverick, nice old Maverick. Well, he ended up living in it, and it wasn't until I moved to Duluth in '89 that the couple that I stayed with that knew we were all part of that church group, he said, did you know the pastor had to have that car fumigated after Mark lived in it? I said, you're kidding. I said, oh my gosh. I dated his sister. That's how I knew him. Hot-looking, freckle-faced, redhead girl. We had the same birthday, March 2nd. I met her in high school, and I thought I had truly found my complete perfect match. She was the first girl to introduce me to Christianity, and I started going to her church. They had a very heavy emphasis on baptism, and I wasn't saved then. Went on a great week-long youth group trip on the Colorado River and Lake Havasu with her. Never kissed her. Never touched her physically. And she looked like she could be my sister. Same color red hair, build body, but woman and beautiful. She had 2 brothers. Her younger brother was ADD and hyper like me. We got along great. Mark was the oddball. And when Mark rented from me, she'd come to stay for the summer to work at a Christian camp, and I let her stay in the house there. And I look back, and it's easy for society to condemn people for things, but then I stop and go, what does a guy like him do? What, he doesn't have a sex drive? He doesn't have hopes and dreams? And then you look at our media world, and what is it promoting? Is there one video with a tall, gaunt guy? They called him E.T. when he was in school. They made fun of him. How'd you like that stigma on you? Don't you think that our society and our media culture pushes people to go down desperate roads and pushes people to do things that you would just be shocked at? Don't you think, to be more blunt, that it destroys some of us? Stop and think about it. If we step back, you got to ask, where's all this damn money coming from? All these hot women on yachts, where's all this money coming from? How come I'm not tapping into it? I'm driving a bus, and I put up with my stuff, but then I have all these breaks and vacations. I'm never going to make the big time. And then you got all these women that don't look anything like what's in those videos demanding a steak lifestyle on a TV dinner budget. Of course, even TV dinners are starting to cost money now. Do you not think that that has an effect on the American male psyche? Of course it does. Why do you think men are drowning in video games? Why do you think men are drowning in alcohol? Pot smoking, gambling, addictions of all sorts, porn. Women are generally today in rebellion against their creator. That is very clearly evident, and you see it. I have to laugh when you see Christian women entering beauty pageants where they're scantily clad and saying, I'm going to bring glory to God. Like hell you are. You're bringing glory to your boobs. Everything is upside down. We have a lot of hot-looking women out there, and they are epic fails in 3 out of 4 categories. But because they get an A in the one called looks, we ignore the most crucial other 3. How many of you men, if you had $1 million, would take that average plain Jane, slender woman who takes care of themselves, who's also clean and smooth shaven and smells good? How many of you would take her on your yacht if you had one? Do you see what our advertising and our media culture has done to us? Men, because of their insecurity, love to be seen with a woman like that. Can I say something? I don't know how I would handle myself with a woman like that at my side. I'd be like, this isn't even freaking normal. To walk down the streets in this suburb with a woman like that on my arm, I guarantee you, motorists, everybody be going, look at that. You can't picture it. The entertainment has created an illusion. It is the magic show of the hour. Sleight of hand. And let's talk about the guy in that video. How is he relationally? How is he spiritually? Emotional development. The guy's got insecurity radiating from all over him. Drinking the beer, the suit and the tie, and thinks he's suave. Does that woman love him for his heart of hearts? I'll bet you that I could have 100% chance of accuracy saying no. I laugh when women call us pigs, and yet women are the ones that are showing up at the porn industry. They have no problem making money stripping themselves and causing them being a stumbling block to men, women, and children all over the world. They're okay with that. That's evil. I don't want to be a stumbling block to children. There are things I'm not going to do in the presence of children just because it's wrong. I ran up a date ad on Craigslist just for fun, not one response. Nice pictures of me up at Red Rocks. And then I put up that one of Maharani, and all these women responded. That was a couple weeks ago. I took it down. Many of us guys have talked, and we're feeling like we're treated as lepers. And it's so deep and wide, this problem, that many of us men are made to feel like we've done something wrong, like there's something wrong with us. And I've said, no, that's not the case. There's a woman who is interested in me. And the reason I'm not pursuing her, she's not really my type. Native American Hispanic mix. She's a good-looking gal. But we went on a hike one Saturday. We started kissing. And she wanted to go all the way. And I said, no. I said, we need to keep this as friends. Her adult son lives with her, smokes pot. She's going to lose her townhome. She's got a mess on her hands. Big mess on her hands. I didn't know about the son smoking pot till yesterday when she called me, and I said, hey, I've got a friend who's desperately needing to get a place because she's going to be kicked out of her place. Eventually. I told her what she could pay. She goes, I'd have to have my daughter move her stuff out of her room because she doesn't live there, but yeah, I'd be open to that. But my son smokes pot in the house, and I'm like, oh. And then she described the townhome she's in, that the neighbors smoke pot and the whole complex smokes pot. Can I just add a rabbit trail here? I'm getting tired of all this drug stuff. I don't want anything to do with a bunch of pot-smoking people. Not because I think I'm better than them, but it's like, I don't want to be around that. It stinks. They're not high-quality, high-class, high-intellectual people. When people in America would wake up and realize that they're just letting themselves go down, which the government is enjoying every bit of this, we need critical thinkers, we need some activists, and we need people to stand up and stop letting the ship sink. Every store I went into yesterday, whether it's men in the thrift store and I got to get around them and you say, excuse me, and nothing. No smile. They just look like droids. So they'll move their body a whole inch. And at that point, I'm like, all right, that's as far as they're going to move. So I end up brushing up against them rather hard. And if they say anything, I'll say, well, move your ass. People don't care anymore. So I said, well, I won't be calling her to tell her to call you then. I said, I don't think she's going to go for the pot smoking. Denver, and I did in my talking to her, she talked to me. And I said, I'm going to tell you something, lady. I don't care for the Denver people. And I said, please don't be offended at this. I said, I like you as a person, but I said, I am tired of the Hispanic Mexican community out here. I am sick of them. She shocked me by saying, Pacific, I'm one of them and I'm tired of them too. She goes, you can't trust them. They're drama. They're problems. And she's got her own problems. I talked to Maharani on Skype, and she's smiling, just playing with her hair and putting it in her mouth, and cute, She's playful, something I don't see over here. I listen to women when they talk, and everything is so staid, contrived, and stoicified, and corporate America has gotten into relationships. Corporate America has gotten into interpersonal relationships. I'm doing well. Most people don't answer like me. Some of us blue-collar people do. Say, Carlos, how you doing? I'm doing. I can deal with that. I hate fake pretentiousness. I told Venus Star when I go to church, I'm tired of going in there and having a bunch of fake plastic people come up and ask me how I'm doing, and the way they're asking it, I can tell they're just not, they don't care. So I don't answer the question anymore. I just say, hello, and I'll say, how are you? Or I'll say, I'm here. They don't know what to do with that, which is fine. Why does Pacific beat on this drum? Because we need to. Because it's not just us. Do we men have our problems and our shortcomings, sins, failures, moral failures, and dysfunctions? Yes. But do women have any less of them than we do? Nope. Are women more superior to us? Nope. Are they better looking than us? Nope. Are they more emotionally well-adjusted than us? Nope. Are they more spiritually mature than us? Nope. Are they better at relational skills than we are? Nope. So what's the verdict? The verdict is that women don't see the truth about themselves. Men are a little more likely to. Why is that? Venus Star and I were talking about your desire shall be for your husband. And I already told you, viewers, that that's talking about the woman will always try to usurp the man's authority and wear the pants. We see that all over the place. These women doing videos of themselves doing this, it's all in rebellion to God if we really get right down to it. Look at me, worship me, buy my albums, make me happy, make me happy, make me happy. She is not interested in one of her viewers at all. Does Mona even have anything in her heart to go, wow, here's this guy, Pacific Ocean Asia, he has heart and he watches my videos. She doesn't even know. She doesn't even care. My channel's small, so I can get to know people a little bit better, though not perfect. But these stars that we like their music and stuff, they don't like us. They don't even know we exist. The numbers are off the charts. Their money's off the charts. They don't care. And I struggle because more and more I tell myself, should you be listening to music, even though the music is innocuous, benign, neutral? Look at the video and that tells you all about what's going on. As I used to say to people, why do we tithe Hollywood? What do you mean tithe Hollywood? Every time you go to the movies, you're tithing Hollywood. Every time you buy a DVD or video or Netflix, you're tithing Hollywood. Why are you doing it? And those same Christians will say, well, I don't want to give my money to church. Why are you giving it to an industry that has its own ministry? What? Hollywood has a ministry? You better believe it. The ministry of immorality, the ministry of vulgarity, the ministry of violence, the ministry of getting as many people as they can to align with the liberal satanic agenda. Why are we giving them our attention, our money, our time, and even taking a date to go to that temple? Want to go to the movies with me? Pacific, are you saying it's wrong to go to the movies? I didn't say it's wrong to go to the movies, but I'm starting to say maybe you ought to just stop supporting Hollywood in any way, shape, or form. We're a pop culture generation. But how much has pop culture affected our view of life versus sound biblical theology? If we start digging around, I'm rebuked because I don't agree with Joshua Harris's book, I Kissed Dating Goodbye. He had some very good premises in it, but there were some things it's like, I think you're a little too legalistic. The whole idea of courtship works under the following conditions. 1, you grew up in a loving, solid family, and you're surrounded by a loving, solid community, and you have a solid, loving Christian community, and you stay in the same town, schools, and stuff all your life, where another family can look at you, and your family can look at their daughter, and say, I think these two would be a match. But we don't live in that society anymore. Transient? I've been all over the place. Do I believe dating is wrong? No. But dating has become miniature marriages. Think about that. Especially when you go all the way. You've just become one with somebody without the ceremony. Oh, well, it didn't work out. That marriage is over. Then you go to girlfriend number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, blah, 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 blah. We've given ourselves an appetite for many romance dramas. We've conditioned ourselves to go, I don't want to be with that woman for 30 years when she gets big, fat, and ugly, and baggage galore. Then you get to my age and you look at all the 40-something-year-old women and it's like, I don't even want to look their way. No thanks. Train wrecks. Not all of them, but most of them. Our society's so messed up, I'm even condemned because I said I'd rather have a younger woman because she hasn't been affected by all this crap yet. But yet, that's changing too. You notice Satan's pushing his reach. He's put his bulldozer blade down, and he is pushed deep into our children's territory. Teenage girls today, you go back when I was a kid, and you go back before that, teenage girls were not the way they were today with the provocative dress and the biatch attitude. These teenage girls are watching porn and seeing stuff that I didn't even see at 13 years old. They're hearing language, they're texting, they're doing things that I didn't even think of. At 13 years old, I'm in Mammoth Lakes, and I was fascinated with snowstorms, and we'd go skiing and front-end loaders. I mean, I thought girls were pretty, but we had no internet. To get a porn magazine, you had to go to the brown cover over the Playboy behind the liquor store counter, and we weren't old enough, so we didn't even entertain that. And we wouldn't even ask somebody to buy it because in a small town, everybody knew you. You didn't want to get caught. No, the dynamic has really changed. We've got, yes, 13, 14-year-old girls engaging in adult behavior. Drinking, gambling, sexual activity. When I was 13, I wasn't even thinking about having sex, believe it or not. I was kind of naive and doping along. I used to walk to school and see a big case W24 front end loader go by. It was rolling forward and kind of rocking a little. I used to think that's cool. I used to picture myself as a front end loader going down the street. I mean, that's the way I thought. Kids aren't thinking like that at 13. They're not thinking about playing with Tonka trucks at 8 or 9 or 10 years old. We've seen a shift that has got huge implications. And that's why I'm challenging my viewers to take a look at what you're looking at and then start reflecting back. Those of you that are my age and older that are look back at where we've been and where we are. I remember when girls played with Barbie dolls and Betty Crocker Easy Bake ovens and Snoopy snow cone machines. And when girls played house. When's the last time you heard little girls say, "Let's play house"? When's the last time you heard little boys get a bunch of green plastic army men, a garden hose, and a bunch of garden shovels and make ramparts and sieges and forts and make a complete battle of Armageddon in their backyard? Cowboys and Indians, man. When's the last time? What are these kids getting into today? SpongeBob Stupid Pants? How dumb is that? I've watched a couple of those shows, and I don't get it. There was a hot-looking blonde woman. Actually, she dyed her hair in Minnesota when I divorced. My son used to play with her daughter. The daughter was a spoiled brat princess. And she lived out in the Minnesota woods with her father. They shared a house, and they had a canoe, and I said, "Hey, are we allowed to go out on that canoe?" She goes, "Yeah, you want to?" So I paddled her out into this lily-infested lake. It was cool. And I jumped over the side and went swimming. I got back in and rode her back. She was good looking. But do you know what she liked to do? Watch hour after hour of SpongeBob SquarePants. And I wasn't rude, but I said, "You like this stuff?" She goes, "Yeah, SpongeBob's cool." My heart fell. She was trying to meet guys online. This was before I got online and met Beth. I liked her. She was good looking. But the more time I spent with her, and then of course I got divorced, and then I said, "Hey, you want to hang out?" Her name was Jennifer. But But the maturity level wasn't there. I thought I'll never be able to have a theological. I mean, she wasn't a Christian. But a woman at my age sitting around watching SpongeBob SquarePants, and then she go, yeah, I think I'm going to go to the bar tonight. There's a guy that likes me, but I don't know if I'm really into him. She wasn't into me because I wouldn't drink. She liked me. She liked me very much as a person, but she would never involve with me because I didn't drink. SpongeBob SquarePants. Okay. Do you know we were once the most academic? Number one in manufacturing, number one in sciences, math, military, arts, a lot of things. Fallen is Babylon. Good grief. I didn't keep in touch with her. When I left Hibbing, I left it all. My viewers need to know something. I did adapt to Minnesota life. I thought, shoot, you can buy 40 acres for cheap up here. About $2,000 an acre. But it's tough. Heating is high. Commuting is costly. You live in Minnesota, you need a brand new car because if you have something old, it's going to rust right out from under you with all the salt they put on the roads. The cost of actually living up there is huge. You can get a house and land cheap, but your daily commute to work and all you're going to eat up cars like nobody's business. Ford just announced they're going to start making their F-150s with aluminum. I don't know why we weren't doing that years ago. The money you pay for vehicles, they need to make it out of metals that are corrosion resistant. You spend a lot of money for that. You don't need a one winter starting to eat your fenders out. But I thought, man, it'd be fun just to have a simple log house up here, roaring fireplace, and live that simple life. And do you know what? It isn't simple anymore. I talked to Minnesotans that did that. He said, we might have to sell. Why? You got it great. The commute, the cost of gas has gone up so much. Now all those people that were privy to living in the country are starting to realize that the commute cost is killing them. Unless you're retired and you can sit out there all week and come to town once a week to get your victuals, you're kind of screwed. Another dynamic is changing as more and more people are saying, I don't want to commute. You get into the winter and all these idiots on the road, and they're tired of that. Pacific's of the opinion, I'd rather live in a community where I could walk to work, walk to church, and walk to my outings and activities and take my truck and push it into the Pacific and say, bye. The money I would save by not having that pickup would be easily $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a year. It's ridiculous. Just to move my butt around. Guys, you don't need a girl that's looking for financial security. You don't need a girl who's looking to be pampered. Venus Star said something very telling. She said, I just want to serve. She said, I want to invite you and I want to cook for you. And I said, why would you do all that? I'm just a guest. She goes, because I believe a woman should serve a man. I laughed. I said, you know, you would not fit in over here at all. She goes, oh, I know that. And unfortunately, too many American men are selfish, too. We got a lot of American men that sit on their butt and smoke pot while the woman does go to work every day in sports. That Jennifer in Spokane had that problem. She brought a guy down, he smoked pot, wouldn't get a job, sat on his butt. She went through a year of this, and finally he said, you got to go. And she's a porcupine. Every time she would talk to me, she was defensive and yelling, and I said, do you got to always be a porcupine personality? And you know what came out of her mouth? The reason I'm a porcupine. Okay, I won't call you porcupine again, okay? I said, I've never attacked you. Why are you coming at me with all your quills out? That's the way a lot of American women are. Porcupines, bump up against them. Worse yet, a lot of them are skunks. Bump up against them, they'll lift up their tail and you just been blasted, buddy. I don't know what animal I see myself as. I've always wondered that. I've got a little otter in me, but I've got a lion heart in me. I've got a little more cat in me. There's times I stalk off with my tail in the air. And then there's other times I want to rub my head and purr. But skunks and porcupines and a woman. And guys, am I right? Most of the women in American culture today are skunks and porcupines. Spraying in quills, man. Stand back. And then you have a lovely 25-year-old black woman in Barbados who wants to serve a man and will not hug anybody, will not dress inappropriate. She'll leave that for her husband when she finds a man to marry. Interesting. But meanwhile, we've got a plethora in the millions of videos of good-looking women from around the globe strutting their stuff, singing a song. And most of the time when you watch the video, you've not even into the music at that point. You're just watching her moving around. They know what they're doing. And for average guys like us, a steady diet of that can make you go in the dumps. Because when you go out your door in American reality every day, there's no pretty girl dancing like that for you. You don't have a yacht you can board and back out of its berth. It's an illusion. I can walk through this entire suburb of Lakewood and find not passion anywhere. I had a talk with a black woman from the other bus terminal the other day, and I said, I'm so sick of Target clothing. And she laughed. She goes, I hate that stuff. She goes, and it's expensive now. I said, yeah, and it's all dowdy, boring. You go up here to Colorado Mills, 15 minutes from me, and I walk through there, and I watch teenagers. They just look retarded, just walking. Mallified. Buying their bags of shite, as my uncle would say. No substance to them. No heart. No personality. They're all drone, clone club, materialistic. Their conversation is flaky or mean. I listen to these teenage girls talk and they're foul, rude. It's sad. And I was walking in Walmart the other day and I just had this feeling we are riding on this huge seagoing ship and it's sinking. And I'm feeling the deck tilting. And everything in me wants to get off. And I'm going, but how? Where's the lifeboat? It's not that I'm being pessimistic and negative. It's that I'm watching things unfold in front of my eyes and going, there is no community. I'm sorry, Facebook is not a community. Not even close. All this hyper obsession with new technology has really not brought us closer together. It's worked in my favor. It's brought me closer together with real, genuine, good people in America and around the globe that unfortunately I can't be with. If only I could take all of us and we colonize an island and start a community. Wow, then we'd be onto something. But we're scattered all over the place. And as we see the world system moving more and more away from God, those of us that are not part of this world system are going to feel more and more alienated, more and more mocked, more and more ridiculed, more and more judged. That's why we need to talk. That's why we need to stick together, and that's why we need to pray. And we need to think about these issues. All this media stuff that we watch, it does not have its origins in God. Most of it is driven by selfishness, self-promotion, self-seeking, self-preserving. That hot-looking Mona doesn't care about any of us. She doesn't care if we all lost her jobs. She wouldn't care at all. But if she lost her looks and she lost all her money and nobody was interested in her, I guarantee you she'd go down the toilet so fast. Probably take drugs and kill herself. I'm going to be talking about a video probably sometime today. I watched an hour-long video put out by the BBC on one of my loves, the great ocean liners. I'm really hoping I can inspire my viewers, male and female, to bear through it for 1 hour, though ships may not be your thing. It's informative, and it's not boring at all. It will give you a picture into the life of the old seagoing giants, and it brings it up to modern times. It's the last great liners, and how the liners disappeared and the cruise ships came in. But there's a lot of things said in that video that are very much what I've been talking about. We've lost something. Not just great ships, but we lost an entire culture and way of doing things when those liners disappeared. The term the jet set's used. You'll like the video. You'll get an appreciation for my love of the ocean and the big ships. I want to talk about something symbolic that you'll find interesting, but you're going to have to watch the video to catch that. It's about Beth and I, and about two ships symbolized both of us, and they were sister ships. One of them, no, I'm not going to give it away. We'll talk about that in the next video. It'll shock you. It will really shock you. There wasn't something I forced. It came to me through the course of the relationship. I thought, isn't that ironic? My love of the sea, and there's two ships, and one ended up coming to a very horrible end in Hong Kong, and the other one is still living on in the place I was adopted from 70 years later. That's Pacific. I don't like what's going on, but I keep going. I keep sailing. I keep going. So help me God, I keep going, and I wonder, where are we headed? So watch these two videos. Let me know what you think. I'd like to do more of this. I'd like to do a this side-by-side commentary with a link that you guys can watch, show you a little into my world of interest, right or wrong. Many Christians go, come on, Pacific, why are you watching? It's kind of sensual. It is. She's not naked, but pretty scantily clad. But I'm trying to make some points. If only I was able to have the technology where I could speak, show a clip from the video all in one video, that'd be awesome, but I don't have the stuff yet. Plus, you get into copyright and all kinds of things, and it just, I don't want to play that game. Pacific has created his own virgin channel that we don't have to worry about copyright infringement here. I just put the link in and I've done nothing. It takes them right to the video, and I get to comment all I want on it. So, we're going to be doing one. I'm not sure what I'm going to title it. I'm going to talk, but you're going to have to watch an hour video in tandem with this. I'm going to open you to the world of my love for ocean liners, because there's more to it than just fascinating, elegant, grandiose ships that are gone. There was a lifestyle and a culture. And I want you to notice that literally a year after I was born, a lot of these big behemoths were pulled out of service. I was born on the tail end of an era, the great transatlantic shipping era. And in my generation, I've got a bridge to the old and to the new. I'm in a good place. But what I see coming scares me. It's not good. I want you, when you watch this video that I promote, they're going to key in on a specific show we're all familiar with in America that made the cruising industry skyrocket to the top. You think the media doesn't have power? Yes, it does. It affected a multi-billion-dollar industry. The invention of one thing put to death the ocean liners, and that same invention worked hand in glove with the cruise industry. We're going to talk about two eras in that video, and then I'm going to come in and give my commentary on some things. And the reason I'm bringing up this Mona video is because just as a TV show had power to put big money into an industry, so does us guys watching videos with beautiful women, yachts, cars, all that. When we realize we can't have that, a form of depression hits us. A form of giving up. A form of dysfunction, if you will. We're not doing ourselves a favor by watching this stuff. We cannot compare ourselves to that 0.01% that's got the whole allure of success. We can't do that. Jesus Christ chose disciples that were ordinary men. He didn't pick GQ males. He didn't pick the bankers or the financiers of their day. He picked tax collectors, fishermen, one doctor. You talk about upside down principle. Jesus Christ didn't pick the Fortune 500 guys. The doctor maybe. But he picked more blue collar, disdained, despised. And again, may I remind my viewers that the angels came to the shepherds first to herald, to announce the birth of Christ. Why shepherds? Why didn't he come to the Pharisees' elite? They were studying the scriptures, the Torah, and unrolling it and writing it down, the scribes. Because he came to the despised, he came to the rejected, he came to the lowly. And my viewers out there, many of you feel like you've been despised, rejected, and lowly. He has his hands out to you. He has his love available for you. Because with Christ, it's not about looks or success. With Christ, it's about the love of God that reaches down to us undesirables. Let people call me anything they want. God will deal with them. A lot of mean-spirited stuff I've gotten comes from so-called Christian women. I smile inside because I know the Word of God, they're going to be in big trouble because they got to give an account for that. They're not going to stand on the good end of that one. They're not. Not many of you were wise, of noble birth, but God chose the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. If we're honest, most of us Christians look rather foolish, don't we? You don't see too many Mona personalities in the church, or Mona type people falling on their knees and getting saved, do ya? Don't ya? There's a reason for that. They don't need God. They've made their self a God. When all these men are practically, and I'm going to use the word worshiping, pedestalizing, giving glory to these women, why would they turn to God? They've become a goddess. So what I'm trying to tell you, the viewer, in a nutshell, be very careful with pop culture. Pop culture is not our theology. Pop culture is not our intellectualism. Pop culture is not the wisdom of God. Pop culture is pop culture. It is entertainment. But video and audio has a profound effect to mold our thinking in a very wrong way. It pits the haves and the have-nots against one another. It makes narcissistic, spoiled, rotten brats out of women who were endowed with good looks. I'm starting to see that those highly good-looking women actually have been blessed with a curse, and they're too stupid to see it. Their beauty is getting in the way of spiritual vision. And because we men are so hardwired biologically and sexually, it's hard not to notice them. We have to discipline our minds to tell ourselves, you would never have a quality relationship with a female like that, ever. It's an illusion. A woman like that is not going to submit to God. She's going to submit only to herself and make a throne for herself. And she has tamed men. Because a real man, a real godly man, a real man who has wherewithal and spiritual growth would look at her and say, you know, you're pretty, but no thank you, ma'am. You don't have anything to offer me. You're a liability. You're high maintenance. You're immature. You're selfish. You're spoiled. No. I want a godly woman, if there is such a thing. Women are always saying there's no godly men. There's not many godly women, not in America. No way, siree bob. Women have bought more into Satan than they have in the Holy Spirit. They have a high opinion of themselves. So does Satan. They don't accurately see their faults. Same with Satan. They pedestalize themselves. So does Satan. I could go on, but I've made that point crystal clear many times. So, enjoy the videos. Enjoy my commentary. And stay tuned for the next one. I'm going to pull out some ocean liner history, folks. I hope you'll stay with me on that. I hope I can push the cerebral envelope a little bit and we won't have 20 views and everybody goes, boring. Because when we're talking about those liners, I want you to see snapshots of people. They actually had footage on these old ships. People talking, people interacting, old people, young people, the whole thing. And it's good. You're going to see a symbolism of what's happened to our culture. You're going to see a transition from the late 60s on from that grand old era. There's a lot in there. There's a lot in there. We're going to talk about that coming up next. Stay tuned. This is Pacific signing off.